When we talk about the most influential people in NBA history, you immediately think of the two GOATs, LeBron James and Michael Jordan. Then probably Magic Johnson and Larry Bird in the 80s, the dominant duo of Kobe and Shaq in the 2000s. But what about a lawyer who went to two of the most prestigious universities in the world? So far in his time as commissioner of the NBA, Adam Silver has succeeded David Stern as a great overall commissioner. After getting an undergrad education at Duke University and a law school education at UChicago, he worked in various legal roles. Growing up, Silver had attended New York Knicks games with his dad. Wanting to do a job that was filled with more action, Silver joined the NBA in 1992 at 30 years old. Prior to becoming commissioner, he served in various roles and worked his way up. In 2014, he was named the NBA's next commissioner. During his time, he's handled off-the-court issues with Donald Sterling and John Morant very professionally. He's done a great job of making a great product on the basketball floor and keeping the off-the-court issues off the court. On the basketball side, he's introduced two of the best things to come to the NBA recently: the play-in tournament right before the playoffs and the in-season tournament in November and December. Let's start with the more recent in-season tournament. The tournament was created as not only a way to get NBA fans interested in regular season basketball, but also to help NBA players who are on the bottom of rosters get a bigger paycheck. I'd say the in-season tournament successfully achieved both of those goals. During group play, we saw games be more competitive due to point differential. Because only 4 teams make the knockout rounds from each conference, every single point mattered. Usually, some casual NBA fans only start following near postseason time or in NBA Christmas, but due to the group games every Tuesday and Friday, there was way more interest in November NBA basketball than ever before. Ratings were up 26% during group play, and it got even better during the knockout round. The quarterfinals game between the Lakers and the Phoenix Suns on TNT averaged 1.97 million viewers, which was 89% higher than the same matchup in November last season. During the month of November, ESPN averaged 1.52 million viewers per game, while TNT averaged 1.43 million, increases of 20 and 16% respectively. Through the increased viewership, many fans were introduced to the star that is Tyrese Haliburton. During the knockout rounds, Haliburton averaged 24 points per game and totaled 39 assists and only 3 turnovers while knocking out Eastern powerhouses like the Celtics and the Bucks. With the increase of viewership and attention, the league can also use the tournament as a form of marketing. With the TV contracts for the NBA ending after the 2025 season, the league can now show potential suitors that the in-season tournament drove more interest than usual in early regular season games. The NBA is also looking to embark on a different path than usual, thinking about straying away from traditional streaming partners like ESPN and Warner Bros. The success of the tournament in revenue and viewership would enable the NBA to mark up the value of their prize TV contracts. So not only did the tournament become a hit with fans, it was also a great business deal from Adam Silver. An additional benefit, the NBA added a small incentive of $500,000 for every player on a roster who wins the tournament. Everyone seems to say that these players are already millionaires, but let's think about this with a simple analogy. A player getting $500K after earning around $1 million for the season is like, for example, you going to a job, making $100,000 and getting an extra $50,000 as a bonus for working hard and achieving a goal. I know these might be the players that don't play the most in the NBA, but getting an additional 50% in salary is such a major boost to these guys. I mean, who wouldn't say no to that? These guys worked hard and they earned it. With all that being said, the tournament is still not perfect yet. I think more teams in the knockout round and a better reward for winning should be implemented. Adding more teams in the knockout round can add more suspense, better runs, and just more overall intense games. Money as an incentive was good, but I think they should go a little bit higher than that. Maybe considering a guaranteed top 6 seed to the team that wins, but I want to see the NBA come up with a better incentive for the players to win. And please do get rid of those hideous courts. This tournament, it did help that LeBron James, the greatest basketball player of all time, and the league's most marketable player on the most universally liked franchise, ended up in the finals of the tournament. Who knows what would have happened if the Pacers played another small market team like the Timberwolves in the finals. But the first in-season tournament should be considered a big success for both Adam Silver and the NBA. Moving on to the second biggest success of Silver's tenure, we have the play-in tournament. The current format of the play-in tournament was first introduced in the 2020-21 NBA season. For the first 2 installations of the tournament, none of the 7 or 8 seeds made deep runs into the playoffs, but the tournament still provided us with fun, intense games. Then, all that changed in the 2022-23 season. In a super competitive Western Conference, LeBron's Lakers ended up finishing as the 7th seed in the West. After a win against the Timberwolves, the team would be the 7th seed and match up against Ja Morant's fierce Grizzlies. After beating the Grizzlies and the Warriors, the Lakers had a chance to make another finals, but ultimately lost to the Nuggets in the Western Conference Finals. Heading to the eastern side of the bracket, the Miami Heat lost their first play-in game to the Atlanta Hawks, but beat the Chicago Bulls to become the 8th seed and play the top-seeded Milwaukee Bucks. As usual, Jimmy Butler put up great playoff performances as the team not only took down Giannis, but also beat the Knicks and the Celtics to advance to the finals. Although they also lost to the Nuggets, this was a spectacular playoff performance from the Heat, a team no one expected to go on a similar run as their 2020 season. In one season, 2 out of the last 4 teams standing came from the play-in tournament. Not only was it successful, but it also was a great move for the NBA to introduce more intense playoff-like games. In a Western Conference that's so tight, all teams have to do now is enter the play-in tournament as a 10th seed and go on a great playoff run. The introduction of the play-in tournament also combated the issue of tanking. Last season, the biggest prospect since LeBron James, Victor Wembanyama, was entering the NBA. Many fans wanted their mediocre teams to blow it up in hopes of acquiring this generational talent. We saw teams like the Raptors and Bulls stand pat at the trade deadline and make a push for the playoffs. Ultimately, both these teams lost in the play-in tournament and missed the playoffs, but their decision to go for it showed an important and underrated success of the tournament. And finally, let's talk about Adam Silver combating load management. Throughout the last couple years, stars like Kawhi Leonard and Paul George have rested multiple games, not played back-to-backs, to preserve their long-term health. But this was slowly becoming an issue for the NBA. Fans turn on the TV and go to games because of the star power. They watch the games to see the best of the best battle it out on the court, rather than sitting in street clothes on the bench. With the new CBA announced last year, Silver tightened up on load management, making teams have at least 1 star player available per game and finding teams for purposefully resting healthy players. The rules are stricter for road games, where fans have only 1 chance to see players play all year. Now, to be included in NBA awards, players must play in a minimum of 65 games every season. Last season, 10 out of the top 20 scorers wouldn't have qualified for any awards or All-NBA teams. Now, being available is an incentive for players to suit up as often as they can, as they value awards and recognition from the NBA. And I do want to touch on some of the off-the-court issues that Adam Silver has handled perfectly. The Donald Sterling situation, where Silver immediately put an effective ban on Sterling from the NBA for life and fined him $2.5 million for racist remarks. The Ja Morant situation, where he gave the star 2 chances before suspending him for 30 games to promote a safe environment in the NBA. Not only was Ja being detrimental to himself and the success of the Grizzlies, he was promoting a negative image to his massive following of youth basketball fans. Not only in his business decisions, but also how he's maximized the product of basketball and kept the off-the-court issues off the court, Adam Silver has changed the NBA and the game of basketball as we see it forever. Thank you guys for watching today's video where I talked about Adam Silver and all the great business changes and overall changes he's made to the NBA. Hope you guys liked this video. Like and subscribe down below. And on the screen right now, there are 2 videos I think you'll really like, so go click on those and watch those. I'll catch you in the next one, and peace.